What's up guys, Mike here, the Detroit Borg, and after the Surface Studio, the Surface Book, the Surface Pro, we finally get the Surface Laptop. I think this is a product many of us have been waiting for ever since Microsoft got into the premium hardware business. They did not disappoint with the Surface Laptop. It's an incredible piece of design and hardware, and we're going to take a really close look at it. So all Surface laptops do get dual-core 7th generation Skylake CPUs, but to start we get a Core i5. We also get 4 gigs of RAM in addition to 120 gigs of SSD NVMe storage. This also gets us Intel's HD 620 integrated GPU, but if you go for the Core i7, you get Intel's Iris Plus Graphics 640 GPU. Now personally, I recommend the $1299 model, which is what I have here. That gets you the Core i5, 256 gigs of SSD storage, and 8 gigs of RAM. Now that's important because this computer is not user upgradable, so I think you want to spend the extra money up front to make sure you have a computer that meets your needs for a long time. Now this computer is available in multiple colors, and I get to take a look at 2 of them today, the burgundy and the blue color. So we're going to take a look at them side by side. This laptop does feel very high-end. It's made out of machined aluminum, so it doesn't flex or creak under load. It has a very nice smooth anodized finish, so it feels a little smoother than the one you might find on the MacBook Pro. Getting to the accessories, we do have some paperwork with a quick start guide and regulatory and warranty information. Down below that, we have the accessory packet, which does include our power adapter and the power cord. Now, the power adapter here is kind of unique. It does include a USB Type-A connector for connecting other accessories to the charger, which is handy. Of course, we also have that Surface connector, so this is magnetic and reversible. It does have an LED indicator that lets you know when the laptop is fully charged and can quickly come off when it's yanked so it doesn't snag your computer. One of the first things you'll run into here is that this is running Windows 10S, which basically means it's locked down to the Microsoft App Store, which means you can't install things like Chrome. But fortunately, you can upgrade to Windows 10 Pro free of charge, and it's really easy and quick to do so. But you want to make sure you do this before the end of the year, because after the year ends, it costs $50 to make the upgrade. So one of the most unusual design features of this laptop is the Alcantara fabric that's covering the keyboard deck. It's kind of a nice thing because this is where your hands rest on the computer. So instead of encountering cold metal, you have this very nice soft, warm material. Of course, this is a fabric and not the easiest material to keep clean, so it's going to take some time to see exactly how this weathers. One of the other design benefits of this keyboard is that we no longer need that gasket around the display, which means we have a true edge-to-edge glass panel, which is great, especially for a touchscreen, which means you don't run into any ridges when you're swiping across on the screen. Speaking of that display, it's covered edge-to-edge in Corning Gorilla Glass 3, and we have an aspect ratio of 3:2 instead of the wider 16:9 or 16:10, which is more common with laptops. This gives you a lot more vertical screen real estate and more screen real estate overall for the size of the laptop. Personally, I'm a big fan of it, but if you watch a lot of the video, of course, you're going to have to get used to black bars at the top and bottom. We have a resolution of 2256 by 1504 that's good for 201 pixels per inch, so it's a really nice sharp display. It is a full touchscreen display that does work with the Surface Pen, but you have limited range of motion with the laptop hinge, so you can't really lay the display flat, which is what you really need to do in order to make use of a Surface Pen anyway. Overall, this is a very nice looking IPS panel, so we have those deep blacks, bright vivid colors, and overall it's a nice bright display with even backlighting so you won't find hot spots, and very minimal edge leaking. The only thing I would like to see improved here is the anti-reflective coating, because there is quite a bit of glare on this display. If you look at the top edge of the display, you'll see a lot going on here. So we have a set of dual microphones, which works with Cortana's voice recognition, in addition to an ambient light sensor. We also have a front-facing 720p camera, which is excellent. And we have a set of dual microphones for excellent audio pickup as well. But we also have Windows Hello built into this laptop, meaning that it actually uses an infrared light and a camera to scan your face to quickly unlock the computer, and it works extremely reliably. No matter the lighting conditions, the distance, the angle of the camera, it seems to work every time. When it comes to keyboards, this is an area that Microsoft has a lot of expertise, and they're really good at it, and that's no exception here. I'm really impressed overall despite the shallowness of the keyboard mechanism. The keyboard is very responsive, has a nice solid click, and the keys themselves are very stable, so everything feels very responsive and accurate. I think the trackpad is just about the right size, so when you lay your hands on the keyboard, it doesn't cover it up. This is a glass trackpad, so it has a very smooth surface on it so you can track accurately across it. It's also a mechanical trackpad, so it does have a very audible and solid click, although I think it's a little too loud. It'd be nice if they dialed this back a bit. But if you like just a traditional trackpad, you're going to be pretty happy with this design. Another design trait that's kind of unusual for this computer is that you won't find any screws or fasteners along the bottom. It looks like just one piece of metal, so it's really impressive, but there's a problem with that. And that's because you can't crack into this computer without destroying the Alcantara surrounding the top of the keyboard. That basically has to be peeled off, and that is a very difficult process, which basically makes this computer unserviceable, but at least it looks nice. Now, just behind the hinge, you'll find lots of ventilation to keep this computer cool, and the fans are fairly silent, even under load. So when it comes to the ports, it's pretty basic here. We get one USB Type-A connector, which is USB 3. We get a mini display port for connecting an external monitor, and we get a headphone jack. Also right next to that is one of the antenna strips. This allows the antennas like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to work through the metal chassis. And also, if you look closely here, the components of the ports themselves are also color matched to the computer, which I think is a really cool detail. If you look at the right edge, you'll find another antenna strip in addition to the Surface connector. Again, this allows you to recharge the computer, but this is also a data point for connecting other accessories like the Surface dock, which gives you a few more I/O options. Speaker quality is outstanding on this laptop. We have speakers behind the keyboard, and they're calling these Omnisonic speakers, and they're tuned by Dolby Audio Premium. They're one of the better sounding laptop speaker systems I've ever heard, so let's go and take a quick sample of it. What's up guys, Mike here, the Detroit Borg, and today we're taking a look at the Surface Studio from Microsoft. This is their very first all-in-one desktop computer. In terms of our benchmark performance, pretty solid mid-range performance overall, so if we take a look at our Geekbench scores, it looks like our Core i5 is clocked at about 2.7 gigahertz. That delivers a single core score just above 3700 and a multi-core score of around 7400. In terms of graphics, if we look at our OpenCL score, it's just north of 19,000, which is also pretty solid. But if we look at our Cinebench scores, the OpenGL score is just shy of 40 frames per second. That's actually a bit better than I expected. The CPU score is okay at around 320. So clearly, this is not the configuration you want to get for gaming. If you're more interested in gaming, take a look at the Core i7, which gets you dedicated graphics. That should double the OpenGL score to about 60 frames per second. In terms of battery life, we have a 45.2 watt-hour battery, which is fairly small for a screen of this size, but that should deliver about 14.5 hours of video watching, according to Microsoft. But in my experience, I'm getting about 7 hours of general multi-purpose use. So in the end, this is a premium computer relative to its specs, but they spared no expense to get the details right. We have a fantastic keyboard, speaker system, trackpad, display, and overall design. There really is nothing else quite like it, so this makes it a really special Windows laptop and something I really enjoy using. It's the perfect weight, the perfect size, and has more than enough capabilities for day-to-day tasks and then some. Although I understand why Microsoft chose not to integrate USB-C or Thunderbolt 3, it would be nice just to future-proof this computer. But ultimately, I'm really glad that Microsoft finally got into the laptop business because it's something they're clearly really good at. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this look at the new Microsoft Surface laptop. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know, and I'll see you again in my next video.